All right, so we're going down to rescue a motor from the old junk pile. This is just one of many junk piles, but we got a VF4 down here. Picked this motor up about 10 years ago, and when we got it, it was full of water. Drained it out, filled it full of diesel, let it soak for a few days, got unlocked, and made it run again. Well, unfortunately, I started using it for parts, so we're gonna try to, it's full of water again. Of course, it's missing parts everywhere, but there she is, a VF4D. Very low hours. You can see how good the old manifold looks on it. It's a newer motor, but look at that. That is not the way you cover a motor up right there, guys. And I should be ashamed of myself for that. But anyways, we're gonna hook that one up. Got a VG4 back in there somewhere. It is hiding out. An AC4 housing right there. And it's a shame. There's your little old 4BT Cummins. I know you guys love that. I'm gonna have to show you that Cummins. But don't worry, it's really blown up. It's got a hole in the block. So let's get it out of here. Here comes the A-team right here. Yeah, maybe. Thing's got an electric start on it too, boy. Flywheel alternator. I always like these VF4s. You know, they got that flat plane crankshaft in them. Out of it. That's great. Yay. All right. Big day today, guys. Okay, so working on the VF4 project. I'm going to show you the rundown on the build, all the components I'm going to use in this motor, kind of why I'm doing it, stuff like that. So this is a VF4 from the 70s, around there. This was the rust bucket motor that we pulled out of the trash pile down there. I mean, it was really, really bad. Been doing this build on this motor for 6 months. I've already built the motor once just to test everything out, tore it back down. Now this time I'm going for it. I'm gonna finish up. So the reason why I did a full build up, I just did a regular factory build on it, but I had done the ball bearing work on the crankshaft. So I have to remachine the crank just a little bit and the block and the bearing plate. So this eliminates all the shims on the tapered roller bearings. Those will be gone. The rear bearing plate is actually modernized. I cut an O-ring groove in it to seal it, so you just slide it right on there and lock it down. So what I did is I went on and built the motor just to try it out, and everything worked. All the clearances were fine, and it sounded good. Like wider, but not quite enough. Not where I wanted to get it yet. And I didn't really like the paint job that I had done on that motor. So figured I'll just go ahead and tear it down and just do it. So while it was running, I built a new intake for it with a dual plane Nicky carburetor. Changed, of course, built the intake to match it. This motor it's not going to have a governor on it. It's going to be a foot pedal application on the motor. So I was able to blank that off and just did a lot of machine work on the block to make it look really cool, and then just kind of clear coated after that was done. So all that looked great. I didn't like the sheet metal color on it and stuff like that. So I said, well, I'm gonna go and tear it down and see how everything worked with the crankshaft. Everything was good. And I was running a regular 4-ring piston. factory piston that goes in there. They were 30 over, and man, just so much drag on that motor. You could barely turn it over. It was so tight. It was terrible. And I mean, it only had about 5 or 6 hours on it when I got done, and it was still tight. I mean, it's just too many rings. I mean, it's just way out of control. Of course, the newer motors, later 70s on up, they went to a 3-ring, thinner ring piston. They were a lot better. But I had a brand new set of factory 30 over pistons for it, so I was like, you know what? I'll just bore it out. We'll do that and try that. Just didn't like it. So, anyways, I noticed with the VF4 with the flat plane, not the cross plane crank. Of course, they sound really good. But it has a lot of piston stop noise, even with those tight pistons and everything. And it just, man, it really had a lot of noise there. So I went off on the old rabbit trail of offset pistons. I needed some offset wrist pin pistons. So this right here is a rundown of the build that I'm finally fixing to start assembling. So of course we got the crankshaft, and I had it balanced too. I've never done that on a Wisconsin yet. The machine shop, the balance shop guy, he's always like, man, don't waste your time doing that, that's crazy, whatever. Well, after he realized what I was doing with this motor, with the pistons, the custom Ross pistons that I had made, and the rings and all this stuff, he's like, man, this is kind of cool, let's balance it, let's go ahead and do it. So we did a full balance job on the crankshaft, the flywheel, the rods, wrist pins, of course, and then of course the pistons, they all weigh the same. And these are the Ross Racing pistons, forged piston with an offset pin. You can't see it, right here, but you see the arrow on top, to go towards the front of the motor, just like a factory car piston automotive, but just newer, a lot smaller. These are actually lighter, even though they're forged, they're lighter than the factory piston. So that was one reason why I really insisted on balancing this motor. You can see this is a factory VF4 piston, 4 rings, and this is the new Ross forged piston. And I mean, just totally different. I mean, this is like new technology. I mean, this is what you'd see in a 4-wheeler now or something like that, But anyways, offset, 80,000th offset on the deal. Ross Racing pistons are a great company. I mean, just top shelf. I sent them a sample, told them what I wanted to do, and they were more than happy to do it. Just for 4 pistons, they did it, and I just figured they'd laugh at me and tell me to pound sand, but they didn't. And they recommended to send it off and have it sprayed with this line-to-line coating that's on here. And so they went from California to Nevada to line, they sprayed them. And then when you get them back, they all weigh exactly the same, and there's a special procedure for this. So to match them, I took another set of jugs. I had them sleeved out because I didn't want to waste the jugs that came off this motor. They were fresh, 30 over. So had these cut and re-sleeved and honed to match the procedure for this piston. I mean, you actually push them in for break-in. So it's kind of a neat deal. But anyway, so got that done. Of course, balanced rods. The heads. Now this is a late model set of heads. These are off a VF4D fuel injected motor. These are actually a higher compression head, if you want to call it higher compression. But if you're familiar with looking at these heads, the chamber is a lot smaller on these heads, and they did this for emissions and to raise the compression levels up. So, and it has a 14mm spark plug, so that's a lot newer than the big 18mm plug. But it's not near as deep on the head design, and of course it tapers in, so it's supposed to bring it up. Now I don't know what this camshaft, but it's supposed to be like 7-to-1 compression, 7.5. So I've used them before and they work. It cleans the motors up a little bit, makes them smell a little bit better. Because I mean, I think the factory on a VF4 is like 5-to-1, compression is really low. Let me get this off here. Let me show you up close what's going on. So, all right, there's crank. Of course, you see the ball bearing here on the front and back. And then you can see some of the grind marks right here in drilling that we did on this. And then we matched the flywheel to it. You can see on the rods, on the little end where we grinded on them, and the big end here on the end, you kind of see some of the grind marks on them that we did to match them. And they were all really close. It was really quite interesting. It was a very fun process to do, because I've always wondered how true balanced is this dynamically balanced Wisconsin. Well, believe it or not, this crankshaft, even as goofy as design, it looks like an inline 4-cylinder, and it's not. It's in a 90-degree V. It actually came within around 28 grams, which is evidently really good. So my guy at the machine shop was saying that most of your small blocks or big blocks are, you know, like 38 grams out. So that was it was kind of neat. I mean, even the rods were, I mean, within like 3 to 4 to 5 grams. I mean, which is nothing. I mean, so we got them all completely true. Got almost 0 on the crankshaft. Here's the rings, the newer style rings right here. These are low pressure, low tension rings. And all 3 of these stacked together on one piston is nearly the same thickness as one oil ring on the factory piston. You can see that. I mean, there is nothing there. Just really going for it here. And Ross Racing got those rings for me too. I mean, they were really, really great. Really did good. Had the jug surface at the same time when I had the new liners put in. Sleeves, not liners. Had it sleeved. And then the valves done. So, here's the block I'm going to use. Here's the flywheel. You can see some of the balancing on the flywheel. Pretty fun, pretty fun. And then the, I don't have the intake and stuff out here, but here's the nylon cam gear. Run this right here is a big deal, guys, I'm telling you. This right here will make all the difference in the world on a 2-cylinder, especially, mainly the 2-cylinder. It will just completely change the sound of that motor. I mean, just unbelievably. And I got the idler gear. It's not out here right now, but to replace this one right here. So it's nylon also. And that takes up, especially if you're running a magneto, this right here will just chatter like crazy with the magneto slapping back and forth. And so on the V4, this is actually a little bit more crucial than the cam gear as far as the racket goes. But I'm going to let this one go, and I'll make another one. I'm trying to document this the best I can. I just don't have the patience to do the video work that it takes. It's a lot of work to do this stuff, but hopefully we can put all these together and get a pretty good idea on the build. Well, as you can see, that thing was pretty rough, but we were able to salvage everything out of it we could. Use the crankshaft out of it, and also the first build I had a different set of jugs on there that I had 30 over. Well, I was able to go back and use those original jugs, as bad as they look. We had them sleeved, of course, to fit those new Ross pistons. Did not use the original block. I was going to, but after batting it, it was fine. But it was just too, the casting was really rough on the outside. So I ended up going back with a model block from the late 40s. Had a lot smoother casting on it. So everything else we used, just redid all the sheet metal and all that stuff. But of course, when I built it up the first time, it was black, as you can see in the pictures. Didn't like the color, so came back, and the last picture will have a gray color on it. And in part 2 video, you'll see the motor finished with the new color on it. And of course, it'll be a different intake on it that I was talking about. And then this bit will have the the full internals. So we'll see how it goes. See you at round 2.
Yes, sir. Let's get down to the